We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. You gotta say Merry Christmas now.
Merry Christmas.
Well, we wish you a Merry Christmas. On today's episode, we're gonna do something a little different today. I'm gonna give you some ideas of what you can do the last week of December. Obviously, celebrate Christmas time and whatever holidays you are gonna celebrate. And as you finish the year, what are some things that you should be doing? Like, what are some things that every salesperson should follow? You want to go see TV? He wants to go watch Bluey. But besides watching Bluey, what are some things that you should be doing to finish out the year strong? When I think about that, this is what I would recommend. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. On this episode today, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas. Hope you and your family are having a wonderful holiday today and that you're enjoying time together, and that as you're doing some, maybe opening presents and you got a new phone, or I don't know, whatever you're listening to us on today, maybe it's a new device, maybe a new Bluetooth speaker, maybe you're doing some cleanup around the house after opening all those presents, whatever it is. I'm grateful that you're listening to us, and I appreciate that. I want to give you something a little bit different as you are going back into this week. Some sales professionals use their vacation days early on, and they still have to work this week. In my philosophy and policy on that is that we give our sales reps those time off so they can go and chill and enjoy time with their family. I know some of you are going to be working. I'm going to do some work. I'm going to spend some time with my fam, but I'm going to do some work behind the scenes as I do vision and prep for the year. And this is what I want to give you for those sales reps who have to be in a working environment. What do you do during this time period? What are some strategies? What are some tactics? What are some specific activities? I'm going to give you 3 that I did as a software sales rep that worked during this time of the year. During that week, you're kind of like a limbo week, but some people are around. People are, and you're going to find people like me, executives, that may work a day or two there, and you can get on a phone or reach out to us, and you could probably get in touch with us if you're doing a relevant outreach, not irrelevant, if you're doing a relevant outreach. So I'm going to break down these 3 ideas for you. There are 3 things that I want you to be aware of. The first one is that you could close deals during this last week. Some of the clients that you're working with, they're probably going to be around. They're probably having final things that they're wrapping up with. And maybe there's a deal that's lingering out there that hasn't quite closed yet. And this is coming down to the wire, man. It's coming down to the last week of the year. If there are any of those opportunities, I'm not saying it's going to be a perfect. If you're not closing them by now, then maybe I'm not going to lie. It's going to be harder. And if you do have them, that should be a priority. It's not necessarily going out and calling cold people. At this point, let's close what we have. And the way that I'd recommend you do this is to be as transparent as possible. I'm not saying go and beg. I don't like that. Don't go and make them feel guilty. Like, hey, I want to close this so I can finish up my calendar year. That's garbage. Let's go back and look at the reasons why those people were interested or are interested. There's something that's a hangup. Perhaps this is something that you're aware of already. Let's focus on that and address it. So I might say something to the nature of, Donald, I know you're excited to get started with this new project in the new year. You mentioned it's something that you want to go with. You also shared you want to get started prior to the beginning of the year. And I know we're down to the last wire right now. Is this something realistically that you feel that that's going to make sense to start right now? And, at that point, I'm not pushing it on my agenda. I'm pushing it on him. If it's realistic at this point, he might say, Donald, it's not realistic. We really just need to do it in January. And then I might say, all right, let's go ahead and finalize the paperwork and all the stuff now so that we can do that as things are slower this week as we go into the new year. Does that make sense? Or can I send those things over so you can finalize them? Or can you go ahead and execute the agreement so I can get that squared off and kicked off internally for you? But again, it's not about you, it's about them. How can we position and focus on them and helping them to achieve their goals? Because nobody cares about you and your product. They care about what your product and what your solutions, what your offerings can do for them. So that's your number one thing, any of those opportunities. If there are people out there that you just haven't been able to get a hold of, perhaps they're out of the office and that's probably just gone. But if there are people out there that's there, they're there, utilize things to follow up, to touch base with them without necessarily being a creep or without necessarily being annoying. So what I would recommend recommend is that you use, of course, say it with me. Say it. You know what I'm going to say. LinkedIn. One more time. LinkedIn. If you don't know how to use LinkedIn, take my LinkedIn prospecting course. We have rooms left for the January cohort beginning end of January. No plug, right? um, but you want to use LinkedIn. Look at stuff that they're sharing or the company's sharing and engage on those things. If you have communication with them, they're probably a part of the decision-making committee. You had conversation with them, engage with them on LinkedIn. Maybe send them a personal message or interact with them of some sort. By doing this, it's a great way for them to show that you're human and that you're trying to connect with them from a humanistic level and not necessarily going on there just saying, hey, you're going to sign the deal or what. I love that idea. They know in the end, they know that that they're not going to all of a sudden see me on LinkedIn and not know that, when Clark Kent put on the glasses and all of a sudden nobody could tell he's Superman. It's like, of course he's still Superman, right? You can see who the same guy. But it's not like when you go on LinkedIn and you put on these glasses that all of a sudden people don't know who you are. Like, oh, this is not a salesperson that I've been talking to for the past 6 months. They know it's you already. So you don't necessarily need to go and say, hey, you ready to buy yet? Just be human, talk to them. And they'll come back and say, yeah, I need to respond to Donald about that agreement, about getting started. And that's one of those things that I would tell you. But and then the other part of that is just being straight up. Like, again, I think it's just being transparent, talking to the person. Again, don't tell them that they guilt trip them into the reason to close, but just find out, Donald, this was something that was important to you. Is this still a priority? Is this still something that you care about? And I know I talked about that already. I just want to really stress that. I know that that part works and it's important. Number 2 is that I want you to reconnect with your customers and your connections. I did an episode about this a while back. When you think about it on LinkedIn, you have hundreds, maybe thousands of connections on LinkedIn. Of all those people, how many of them are you really connected to? Take this time to connect with them. It's going to be a down week, so you just connect, reach out and connect. Hey, Dave, I know we never connect. We haven't sat down and chat this year. I would love to. I mean, how are things going? Are you in town for the holidays? Are you going out of town, hosting people and not hosting? Just start a conversation. And you'll be amazed how many people will reply back to you. And it's not a business chat that naturally will come as an outcome of it, but you just want to connect with people, and maybe set appointments. I've had those where people I reconnected with, and they're like, "Let's set up a time and sit down and chat." Or because I was visual to this person, they saw me. They were able to reach out to me and to, connect with me or whatnot. And it's just like a simple little thing. And it's just so powerful. But connect with your connections. Go back to your customers as well. I talk about this in our LinkedIn prospecting course, and I shared this idea with you all. Everyone should have a list on LinkedIn. And that list, that very first list that you should have on LinkedIn Sales Navigator, is with all of your customers. Because on this, you'll see who is moving jobs, who's getting promotions. LinkedIn Navigator is going to notify you about that, some of those activities that they're doing. And if I see that one of my customers has changed jobs, I can reach out to that person because they might be able to take us into the new organization they're in. But the same concept applies when it comes towards just having that list of customers, just reaching out to them. It's easy for you to just go to that LinkedIn list, see them, send them a LinkedIn message, send them an audio message, because more than likely you're connected with them already. Send them an audio message and just say, hey, Darlene, it's been a minute. Hope you're doing well. XYZ company has been really progressing, watching some of your content on social, blah, blah, blah. Hope you have a wonderful new year. And it would be an honor to connect with you and to catch up, see how things are going with you guys. Would you be open to doing that in a new year? Yeah, Donald, let's do that. And now you're setting appointments. You come back in a new year, you have some people you're connected with. And here's the thing when it comes to customers, those are the people who are more likely to give you referrals. One more time for the folks sitting in the back. Those of your customers are the ones who are more likely to give you referrals. And perhaps they'll bring you back inside the organization and connect you with other individuals. I'm telling you, man, this is money and it's a simple idea. But reach out and connect with your customers. Number 3, this is a golden one here that you're probably sleeping on and you're probably throwing out with the trash, but it's your lost deals. Just like with your current customers, go to those lost deals that you lost this year or probably last year. Reach out to those individuals. Now, all of them had a reason why they reached out to you. Perhaps they went with a different vendor. Are they satisfied with that vendor? Perhaps they went, maybe to the deal, an executive came in, but maybe that executive is gone. What kiboshed that deal? What made it not work before? Maybe you didn't have a feature that they needed, and maybe they're coming up on contract renewal in a calendar year. Like, is there a way that you can reach out to them and just to make a connection? Again, we're not trying to just pitch here. We're trying to make connections with folks. Can we reach out to them and make a connection? If you reach out to those individuals, make a connection, there's going to be a high possibility that you're going to get more appointments. I promise you with this one. Those people, let's just guess and say if you reach out to 10 of those individuals, I promise probably like 30% of those individuals probably will reconnect with you again. Because you've had such a good relationship. You were communicating via text, you were communicating via email, you were talking to them on the phone, you did a bunch of Zoom meetings together, you had LinkedIn connections with them. So it's very easy for that conversation to start back up. And especially if they're dissatisfied, they're not seeing the results that they were planning for before with that particular vendor, or with maybe they went stalemate and said, we're not going to do anything, and they didn't go with any particular organization. Now may be a good time for you to sweep right back in there, slide into that DM, right? And get right back in there with the conversation with them. That is an easy avenue. And some of these people, again, they're going to be around during the week, and they're probably responding to their LinkedIn connections either way on a holiday. If they're not working, they're probably going to be around their phone. They're going to get a notification. But start the conversation. You can book appointments with that. If you did those, and then the bonus thing I would tell you is just clean up the pipe. Sweep that pipe. And as you're cleaning out some of those pipelines, again, some of those lost deals, you can go back to some of the deals that just are dead, clean it up. As you clean, sweep out that pipe. Let us help you build that pipe back again with 3 to 5x of high quality opportunities. Take advantage of the things that you're learning on this podcast. Become that evangelizer for your clients, where you can give them true value, man, where they see you as this resource, and that they trust you and they want to learn from you. They want to come to you over and over again to get insights. I promise you, if you were to do these activities this week, you're going to see that you're going to find more opportunities than you probably would have. And you're going to re-engage with more people, and you're going to have more appointments ready for you going into the new year. Trust me, I've tried them. I've tested them, and I know that they work, and I know that it can work for you. If you have tried anything else, I'd love to hear about that. Hit me up on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly. That's Donald C. Kelly. Connect with me on LinkedIn and tell me what other ideas you have that we can do during this time, the last week of the year. I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you and your family to have a happy, Merry Christmas. I want you to be safe. I want you to come back ready to build amazing pipeline. I want you to close more deals than you ever have before. I want you to raise your level of thinking. I want you to take advantage of our sponsors and their offers. And I want you to use the stuff, especially LinkedIn. I want you to check out our LinkedIn course and how we can help you to maximize that and book 3 appointments per week. I want you to do these things because I want you to thrive and succeed. Most importantly, I want you to go out, do big things, and earn some good money. See you on the next one. Merry Christmas.